Hi, this is James Clarkson, and the example I'm talking through today is setting up the very basics of getting Excel to talk to MAXSURF stability so we can extract results. I'm going to start from a blank Excel page and do that initial groundwork on a really simple example, just so we've got a simple case that we can build from. So you'll notice here that I have already run my equilibrium results. I've got equilibrium active, and I've got an intact load case going. So I have my developer tab visible. If you don't have that visible, then File, Options, and Customize Ribbon, and select your developer tab here. Now on the developer tab is how we launch the Visual Basic Editor, and you'll see the shortcut is Alt F11. So without the developer tab, you can just Alt F11 to pull it up. So book one is my Excel sheet. So anything here will talk to that book one. And what I'm going to do, rather than put it into a sheet, I'm going to insert a new module. So it's independent of any particular sheet rather than fixed into one sheet. So now we're ready to start typing some code. Excel at this point in time doesn't know that we want MAXSURF stability to be part of this. So the first thing we need to do is create a reference and give that link from Excel across to stability. So under the Tools menu and References, we'll find a list of all the applications, and I have already checked it here, Bentley Stability Automation Library. Now this is normally by default, under alphabetical order, so scroll down and you should be able to find it there. So we've got that reference. So the next thing we need to do is to give it a name so we can talk to it. So we want to dimension dim stab app as new Bentley stability. I'm using tab key to autocomplete here. Dot application. So now we've got this name stab app, and that's what we can use when we're talking in Excel and trying to talk to that application. So the next thing we can do is to set up a subroutine. So sub extract results. See, it automatically puts in the end of my routine as well. Now, the simplest thing we can do to show that we've got that link across is to get the version number of the software. It doesn't need any file paths or variables in, etc. So it is good practice to initialize variables, but it doesn't matter if we don't. Stab app, control space, autocomplete, dot version. And now you'll see here that I've got a run button, a stop button, and under debug, you'll see that F8 is my step one line at a time. So for this, I'm just going to do F8. So we can see one line at a time. A is currently empty, and then we run that line and we get a version. So that tells me that we've got all of the back end stuff all sorted. So Excel successfully has that link through to MAXSURF. So now we can go and start looking at getting some results. Now we need to get the result and we need to put it somewhere. So what I'm going to do is for a cell in Excel, range C5 equals stab app is talking to Excel, sorry, talking to stability, and equilibrium results. Now this one is a little bit tricky, that it's equilibrium results set 1, but there is only one set, but we still do need that 1 in there. And then we can look at which value we actually want to get out. So I'm just going to grab the displacement here. Let me do my F8 to step through that. And let's have a look in Excel. And that's my displacement in kilograms. So the standard units on the inside of MAXSURF. Now we can go and repeat that for as many things as we want. you could either be going and changing this to put it into a new cell each time, or I prefer to keep the same range and use the offset command. So this is offsetting by one row and 0 columns for my new data point. And so let's run that again, and we should see we now have the 2 data points, the 2 results copied across. So that lets us get one number at a time, which is great if we want to have a different format or layout from what we have in stability. If we just want the table as it is in stability, we can get it in one call. So stab app dot design dot copy table. You see there's also images there. Copy table, and let's choose the table we want, which will be results and equilibrium. And then you'll see I get a choice between whether I copy the headers or not. So yes, I would like to copy the headers because they're useful to have. So we now have that on our clipboard. Choose a cell we're going to paste into and paste. So let's step through that again and have a look at our Excel. And there we have it pasted. So that's 2 ways of getting data from MAXSURF across to MAXSURF across to Excel, either getting the individual value or copying an entire table. Now, there's quite a few things that we can do differently in here to try and simplify this and make our program easier to follow and easier to adapt and change. One of the things I often do is to use ranges instead of particular cells. So starting with the letter R tells me it's a range. Dim R8 out as range, and then set R out equals worksheets So what I've done here is I've given a name to this location in my worksheet, and now instead of having to write range 10 or the full address of sheet 1 range 10 C10, we can just talk about R8. Now if I want to give myself a little bit more room later, I can go and move everything by actually I just realized that was at C5, not C10. So I can just make that one simple change and it's going to paste it back into the place we were. So that's one way we can simplify things. The other one is that we can also have give this a name to simplify that. So Control Z on that. Dim EQ res as result, and then set EQ res equals so now instead of having to put this long result through each time, I can just put in EQ res. Now for equilibrium, we only have one result set. For upright hydrostatics, where you've got 10 result sets, you could have this code and then cycle through those 10 result sets by changing what EQ res is defined as. So let's step through this now and just check it's all working for us. And so there we go, it's run through successfully without errors, and we still have that data there. So that's a little simple getting started and starting from a clean sheet. I will attach this this file in with a video so that you can have a look at it yourself. And yeah, hopefully this is a really simple example that can get you started so you can then move on to more practical and more complex things. Thank you for your time and good luck with it.